Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jim Bourne from Livingston, Montana. Say today is Veterans Day, November the 11th of 2025. Let me grab my little teleprompter here, which is nothing more than a 4x6 clipboard. Anyway, I got a few notes here so I can keep track, so I can get this video done, that kind of thing. Anyway, what I thought I would do is just say a few things about how Veterans Day relates to me. I'm a veteran. I'm a Vietnam veteran. Unfortunately, I got stuck in that very unpopular war. And believe you me, I paid the price over the years for being a Vietnam veteran. I served in Vietnam from, it was October of 71, September or October of 71 until the spring of 72. May, right towards the end of May of 72. And the reason being is because Nixon pulled us out of Vietnam. He de-escalated the war. We were told to stand down. And I remember that all too well. In my unit, they gave us 30 days to pack up bags, and baggage, like they used to say, and get the hell out of there, which I didn't waste no time getting the hell out of there, believe you me. Anyway, the unit I served with, I was in the Signal Corps. I don't have a lot of real hairy stories to tell, but I was involved with military central intelligence, so from that aspect, I got a lot of stories to tell, but I'm not going to do that. But this is the unit right here I served with, 1st Signal Brigade, 160th Signal Company, or however you wanted to group. They actually called us a group, believe it or not. And what I was responsible for doing was telecom, telecommunications, both landline and satellite. I said satellite. I had 2 top security clearances and all that good kind of stuff. And believe you me, I've got a few incidences when it comes to security or that sort of thing. I really don't want to get into it because the reason being is on my channel, I've already talked about this stuff, and half the stuff I've got to say, people wouldn't believe me anyway, But this is my official unit patch there, bottom line. Like I say, 1st Signal Brigade, 160th Signal Group, or Company, if you will. Okay, let me see what else I got here, okay. Like I say, I served with under Tricky Dick Nixon, and that's one thing. I know there's been a lot of bad things wrote about President Nixon, blah, 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 all that other stuff. But one thing that man did do is got us out of Vietnam. I know that for a fact. I remember those days all too well, and I was always very thankful to old Tricky Dick for getting us out of Nam. That's one thing he did. He might have done a bunch of other screwball things like Watergate and God knows what else. Well, typical politicians. Politicians, all they know how to do is lie, cheat, and steal. As far as I'm concerned anyway, Okay, but the reason why I decided to do this stupid video here is to just kind of complain a little bit. My tenure in Vietnam, it was bad enough, but what was really bad for my service to this country, being a Vietnam veteran, was coming home, facing I'm a baby killer, I'm a drug addict, facing all them names that people wanted to put on me or hang on me and like that. Getting used to civilian life and on that kind of stuff right there remains some of the toughest stuff that I've ever done in my whole entire life. And I'm 73 years old right now. The modern day veterans that we have now, I know for a fact that you guys have gotten treated a lot better, especially by citizens, just ordinary citizens, than what we did. Us Vietnam veterans were hated. We were put under an umbrella that was really wrong. You know, we got blamed for a lot of stuff that we didn't do. You know, I can guarantee in my case, I never killed a baby. I never did anything in Vietnam that I was ashamed of. Let's put it that way. And that's a fact too. But yet, get home, we got all this discrimination and all this kind of stuff. It was not specifically too good. And my hometown at the time that I got out of the service or got back from Vietnam was Polson, Montana. And believe you me, I met a wall of discrimination and hate and name calling and stuff that you just couldn't believe. You just couldn't believe it. And here I am, 73 years old. In December, I'll be 74. And I have tried all of my life to forgive those people that put me down, called me a baby killer, called me a drug addict, called me, but it's been hard. In my personal case, I really did need some support when I came home. I'm going to tell you what support I had. Absolutely nothing. That's the kind of support I had. I mean, I'm not trying to dream up any sympathy here. I'm just saying this stuff actually happened, I know today's veterans don't have to face what us Vietnam veterans did, which is good. I hope to hell they'd never give a war like the Vietnam War. But however, I'm probably barking up the wrong tree by saying that, because I know for a fact that if the economy gets bad enough and whatnot have you, the powers to be are going to create another war, come hell or high water. Why? Because creating wars boosts the economy. That's why. It's a money-making operation all the way around. Sending guys off to war, equipping them with, clothing, food, ammunition, weapons, and all this stuff. It's a big money maker all the way around, And so, economy goes down. Well, we'll just sacrifice a few young men and women. Bastards anyway, The federal government needs to be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed. You're looking at a guy here that doesn't believe anything when it comes to the federal government. They can lie, and like this Charlie Kirk thing. Man, I've never seen so many lies piled up on top of each other as that fiasco right there. And I say that with all due respect to Charlie Kirk. And I didn't even know who this guy was. But, it's been all over in world news and, Okay, let me move on here. Oh, well, that's really all the notes I've got. I really didn't want to get too carried away here. For you folks that have respected us veterans and never put us down and all of that, well, God bless you, But for you people that hate veterans or whatever, have you blame the government. Don't blame us, Like in my case, when I got called up to serve in Vietnam, I didn't throw away my orders. I didn't run off to Canada. I didn't go hide. I didn't do any of this stuff. I faced the damn music. That's what separates me away from a whole lot of people forever. I faced the music, because back in my day, guys were burning their draft cards right and left, and there was all kinds of protests, and half of America hated us Vietnam veterans, and, like that, Like I say, I hope to hell that they never give another war like Vietnam. Oh, but the government, they learned. They now are real slick at giving wars, aren't they? Sure they are. They can use just about any excuse they want to and make it fit. Anyway, so, but, like I say, this is November 11th of 2025, and for I really do. Outside of my griping and complaining here, I do wish everybody that served and everybody that didn't serve a happy Veterans Day and all of that. And so, you folks can just be thankful for the guys that did serve. Like I spent my 20th birthday, 20, my 20th birthday in Vietnam. That was a hell of a way for a young man to start off his life. I started off my life tending to military duties, if you will, in Vietnam. That's how I started off my life. That was a hell of a way to get launched out of the crib, so to speak. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is James Robert Bourne from Livingston, Montana, bidding you adieu. And I appreciate you folks watching this video, and we shall see you on down the trail, and adios, my friends, and so forth and so on.